Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal 155 based on novel. So let's start. Wealth, the first sword that Wang Lin obtained at the Hengyu sect. It seemed that the moment the youth held that sword, everything in the future had been decided. Hundreds of years of karma flashed by from when he lost it to when he regained it. Wealth contained a soul technique of the previous generation's reigned celestial sword spirit. This soul technique was not a celestial spell, a Dao spell, or even an ability. It was a sword style. A powerful sword style that inherited the ancient sword intent. Wang Lin's held the celestial sword and looked at the formation that the Thunder Beast and Celestial Guard were constantly attacking. When the formation looked like it couldn't withstand another hit, he lifted the celestial sword. The calmness in his eyes were gone and it was replaced with a ray of sword light. At this moment, his entire body merged with the sword in his hand. The celestial sword rose. And it fell. This simple fall caused the heavens and earth to fall into darkness. Even the Celestial Guard and the Thunder Beast seemed to disappear at this moment. In the entire world, there was only this simple fall of the sword. This sword seemed like it was going to open the world, like it was about to tear through the chaos of the world. This sword gave off no sword energy or celestial spiritual energy, but this simple sword would shake the soul of anyone who saw it. The first to react was the Huan family's ancestor. His eyes jerked wide open, revealing a look of shock, and he exclaimed, This is law. It was as if the heavens and earth were being torn apart. This sound of tearing echoed in his mind. The dim heavens and earth seemed like they really were being torn apart. Not only him, but Huan Fengshan sucked in a breath of cold air. A monstrous killing intent came from the sword the moment it fell. The killing intent spread like crazy as it tore through Huan Fengshan's eyes and imprinted in his mind. Huan Fengshan's body suddenly stiffened. This is, Huan Fengshan's mind trembled. It was as if a sword had just pierced between his eyebrows and came out from the top of his head. He subconsciously took several steps back. With his late-stage ascendant cultivation, he wasn't able to see the law of the sword. However, he clearly felt that at the moment the sword fell, it seemed to contain a heavenly law, but even more, it contained the power to tear the heavens. Bang bang, bang bang, bang bang. Huan Fengshan could clearly feel his own heartbeat speed up. He had the illusion that he was going to collapse with the world. All of the Huan family direct descendants that were originally looking at the sky were filled with shock. That simple fall made them feel like they were part of it all, as if the fall of the sword that tore the world apart had torn them apart too. They were immediately covered in cold sweat. With their cultivation, they had no idea why it was like this, why they had such feelings even with the formation protecting them. The other party had simply lowered his sword. The fear of death began spread at this instant. Not only them, even the eyes of Qian Kuizi, who had been watching with his divine sense, shined brightly. He was inside the secret chamber of the Qian family's home, and he suddenly stood up. Law. That sword strike contains law. The pursuit of the second step is law. The first step is understanding the heavens, and the second step is converting that understanding into the power of laws. If this child is not someone from the Thunder Celestial Temple, how could he display such a sword strike? At the same time, a member of the Shu family noticed this scene. An old man from the Shu family was also watching the battle at the Huan family's home with his divine sense. Previously, he had come to an agreement with the Huan family to provide help. He had lifted his foot to leave, but at this moment, he gently put it down. This child's sword style is very strong. Although I'm not afraid of it, since he dared to challenge the Huan family, he must still have moves prepared. The sword fell, and at this moment, all of the sound in the world disappeared. The Huan family's formation collapsed without any real contact or blow landing on it. After withdrawing the sword, Wang Lin's expression was pale. However, his gaze became even colder as he stared at the Huan family below him. The impact the heaven chop had on the body was great, and it had nothing to do with cultivation. It relied on the origin energy from a close integration of the origin soul and the body. An ascendant cultivator's origin soul and origin energy are fused into one. However, The heaven chop can separate a part of that origin energy. An ascendant cultivator only has a fixed amount of origin energy, and once too much is lost, their cultivation regresses. Fortunately, Wang Lin had Ju Yi's ascendant crystal, so he had a bit more origin energy than most cultivators. The Huan family was completely silent. Huan Wuqing's gaze was even more gloomy as he looked at Wang Lin and coldly said, "I underestimated you. To have such a sword style at only the ascendant stage, you are indeed very strong. However, the gap between the first step and second step is too wide. If you had displayed that sword art with second step cultivation, it might have been interesting, but it is useless right now. Today you broke my Huan family's formation, so you will without a doubt die. Please, ancestral jade." The Huan family's ancestor let out a loud shout. A powerful force suddenly came from the Huan family's ancestral home. This force, which was filled with a sense of unity, spread like a celestial wind and surrounded the Huan family. A golden jade slowly floated into the air from a house nearby. This force of unity was coming from this jade. At the moment the jade appeared, it was as if a separate world had been carved out from the planet. It allowed the Huan family's ancestral home to become its own realm. The Huan family's ancestor stared at Wang Lin and revealed a sneer. Unless he had to, he wouldn't personally act, because he was too afraid of Wang Lin's sword energy. Earlier, when he asked Chen Kuizi to help, it was to waste Wang Lin's sword energy. The Huan family's formation was meant to do the same. However, he would never have imagined that Chen Kuizi would actually retreat instead of battling. The family's formation was broken not by the sword energy but by the combined force of the thunder beast, the puppet, and the law from the sword. Now he could only clench his teeth and call out the jade that their celestial ancestor had left them. This jade contained a spell of the celestial ancestor from the thunder celestial realm. The Huan family was able to reach the status they had today because of this jade and a treasure left behind by the celestial ancestor. Huan Wuqing thought, unfortunately, the celestial treasure disappeared along with Huan Wuxiang several thousand years ago. Otherwise, with that celestial treasure, there would be no need to call out the jade. The powerful force from the jade was like a gentle, spring breeze. It also gave off a bright color. After an instant, the jade seemed to melt, then it took the shape of a person. Although one couldn't clearly see the person's features, it gave off a sense of majesty. Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal 159 based on novel. So let's start. Northern part of planet Ranyun, the capital of the Di Shan Empire. A person was sitting inside an extremely luxurious palace. This person was almost 40 years old with a slight bit of white hair. Under his sword-like eyebrows was a pair of eyes that were like the stars. This person was very handsome, and his green robe made him look very luxurious and gave him an aura of majesty. There was a map spread out on the table before him. He pondered as he looked at the map. After a long time, he withdrew his gaze. It was now late at night and the moonlight was covering the ground. As the person silently pondered, he stood up and walked out of the palace. He stared at the earth covered in moonlight and gently sighed. I wonder if Father is also watching this world right now. A cotton velvet cloak was put on the man from behind him. He raised his hands to hold it over his shoulder and smiled. Still haven't gone to sleep. A woman appeared behind the man. This woman was very beautiful, and although she had aged, she didn't look old. Instead, she gave off a mature aura. The woman's eyes revealed tenderness as she looked at the man and softly said, "The night wind is cold, rest early." The man grabbed the woman's hand as he looked up at the moon in the sky and slowly said, "Qingyi, what do you think our dad is doing right now?" Qingyi's face turned red. She had accompanied this man for many years and even told him about her agreement with his father. The time they spent together had caused their feelings to grow, but at this moment, her face still turned red like a little girl's. Qingyi softly said, "It should be your dad." The man held on to Qingyi's hand and laughed. "My father is your father." Qingyi's heart felt sweet. She followed the man's gaze toward the moon and softly said, "Dad should be resting." The man's eyes revealed a strange light and he shook his head. "I can feel that father is watching me right now." In the Wang mansion in vast Water City, Wang Lin withdrew his gaze from the distance. He was sitting in the courtyard under a tree accompanied by the autumn wind and listening to the leaves rustling. Sometimes 1 or 2 leaves would fall and drift before his eyes. Falling leaves will all eventually return to the roots of the tree. They were like children who would leave when tired but would always return to their loved ones. Time seemed to silently flow by as the leaves fell. Time began moving, and in the blink of an eye, another 5 years passed. The School of Heaven was extremely large and had enveloped the 3 empires, and it was still spreading all over planet Ranyun. If the peace remained, it would have been fine, but 3 years ago, there was a sudden change in the Daishan Empire. They began to crack down on the School of Heaven and even sent out large amount of troops to wipe them out. This sudden change was like adding water into hot oil. This change caused the mortal world to go into chaos and caused a great uproar. The School of Heaven's reaction was extremely fierce. In just half a month, they were able to gain control of the military in the Daishan Empire without any bloodshed. 6 or 7 out of every 10 people in the Daishan Empire were followers of the School of Heaven. Taking less than a month to beat an empire was like a spring thunder that exploded in everyone's hearts. No one was prepared for it, and they were shaken to their souls. The Daichin Empire and the Chenyun Empire didn't recklessly move. They sent out messengers to the School of Heaven to sign an agreement to not invade each other. The Daishan Empire no longer existed and was replaced by a giant empire called the Heaven Empire. In the Heaven Empire's capital, Wang Ping was wearing the dragon robe while standing high above, looking down at the world. Beside him, Qingyi silently accompanied him. The officials of the Heaven Empire looked up at their new emperor. They could never see through this person. It was as if nothing in this world had any value to him. It was as if even him standing here today was just him trying to prove something to someone. Wang Ping's eyes swept past the world beneath him and looked into the distance. The matter with the Daishan Empire attracted the attention of the cultivators on planet Ranyun, and they showed signs of interfering. Wang Lin's life was still as calm as water without any ripples, and his face was growing even older. This year was the 5th year since the Heaven Empire was established. The Daichin Empire and the Chenyun Empire broke their agreement and launched their attack on the Heaven Empire. Wang Lin didn't pay any attention to any of these. He sat in the inn all day, listening to people talking about the rumors of the 3 empires. He just silently drank and never said a word. The waiter from back then had borrowed some money from his relatives and bought this inn, so he was now the shopkeeper. The new waiter was also very familiar with Wang Lin. Upon seeing Wang Lin arrive, he quickly brought the wine and food that he brought every time. The waiter was very kind. After putting down the food and wine, he caringly said, "You are getting old. It is best to drink less." Wang Lin smiled and nodded. "Today I'll drink only 1 jug." The waiter smiled and went to greet other customers. When he had spare time, he leaned against the counter by the door, looking at Wang Lin, and sighed. This elder Wang is a man with a bitter life. He's this old and has no children to accompany him. The cashier behind the counter lifted his hand off the abacus and shook his head. I heard from a servant girl from their mansion that he had a son. However, the son left home many years ago and never came back. Wang Lin held the wine jug and took a drink. His gaze fell outside the window and he sat there for a whole day. At dusk, the old servants came to the inn. They thought that their master was getting old. When he didn't drink, it was fine, but after drinking, there should be someone with him. Otherwise, they feared he would fall and hurt himself. Wang Lin and the old servants walked under the gradually rising moonlight as they returned home. The empty large house was dim without any light. After telling the old servants to leave, Wang Lin sat down in the courtyard and looked up at the sky as he muttered, "Time passed very quickly. Ping is already 47 years old. Perhaps he has found some clues himself." The battle between the 3 empires slowly unfolded, but with the interference of cultivators, there were many unexpected turns of events. However, this all changed when the Emperor of the Heaven Empire personally took charge. No matter what cultivation level the cultivators were at, they would all retreat before him. Slowly, all of the interfering cultivators withdrew from the mortal world. Aside from Wang Ping showing up, Another big reason was that the Sun, Ran, and Zhao families had given their orders. Wang Ping was sitting in the head position inside a golden tent in the army's camp. After waving away a few courtiers, he walked out of the tent. His eyes passed several of the passing soldiers before looking at Quilian Mountain in the distance. Wang Ping's face looked slightly older, and the hair around his temples was completely white. After becoming a supreme ruler among mortals, there wasn't much happiness in his life. All of the things he had to worry about made his heart feel fatigue. He suddenly missed the 19 years of his childhood and everything he experienced in the village when he was a boy. While he was looking at the Quilian Mountain, pondering, Qingyi walked out from the tent. She stood next to Wang Ping and softly said, "You said that was where you grew up. Do you want to go see it?" Qingyi's appearance also revealed trace of time as she gently looked at Wang Ping. Wang Ping sighed and said, "Let's go see." A par of sergeants followed as Wang Ping and Qingyi walked toward Quilian Mountain. Wang Ping looked at the surroundings. The unfamiliar surroundings gave him a sense of familiarity. The smoke in the distance gradually became clearer, then the fallen moon village appeared in his sight. As soon as they got near, maybe because of the soldiers, fierce barking came from the village. During these chaotic times, the villagers of Fallen Moon Village were all vigilant. Now that they heard the dogs barking, they immediately got up and took their farming tools and torches outside. They saw that not far away were soldiers in full armor and a man and a woman wearing civilian clothes. Facing the hostile gazes of the villagers, Wang Ping didn't say a word. He stared at the villagers, but in the end wasn't able to recognize a single one of them. His face revealed bitterness. Time was like song, and in a flash many years had passed. He wasn't able to recognize the people he was familiar with back then, because their changes were too great. Moreover, nearly 30 years had passed. He didn't know how many had stepped into the reincarnation cycle and were no longer here. "Let's go to the back mountain. Grandpa's son is buried there." Qingyi let out a sigh and walked forward with Wang Ping. The villagers before them hesitated before slowly spreading out and making a path. Just at this moment, a weak voice filled with uncertainty came. "Wang Ping." Wang Ping stopped, then he turned around and his gaze fell on a villager. It was a woman who looked about 40 years old. The woman appeared to be slightly old, but in Wang Ping's eyes, he seemed to see the girl who said "I hate you." At this very moment near the distant planet Yunxia, greed was moving like a meteor. He looked at planet Yunxia as he sniffed and his eyes revealed a strange light. "Just as I entered the northern domain, I had a hunch that there was treasure here and followed its aura. The smell led me here. There is no mistake, the dense fog is clearly covering up the treasure's light. However, this planet looks a bit strange." Greed stared at planet Yunxia for a bit. After hesitating for a moment, he flew toward it. In his whole life, he had never been to any place without treasure. He had a terrifying intuition about where treasures lied. As he closed in, his heart beat wildly and his eyes glowed even brighter. "I only had this feeling when I got that giant furnace. Could this place have a treasure comparable to that giant furnace?" Greed's eyes were filled with excitement. At this moment, he completely forgot about Wang Lin and the restrictions placed on him. He clenched his teeth as he slapped his bag of holding and the giant furnace appeared before him. While using it to clear a path, Greed followed and slowly disappeared inside the fog. "This old man has to see what kind of treasure this is." Greed licked his lips. The middle-aged woman whispered, "Wang Ping. It is you." Wang Ping walked up to the woman, looking at her face that no longer had the youth she had before, and smiled. "Ju Ruotong." The middle-aged woman bit her lower lip and stared at Wang Ping. After a long time, she revealed a graceful smile and softly said, "I recognized you the moment I saw you. After this many years, you still came back." Wang Ping felt melancholy as he watched the woman before him. There was also a girl about 10 years old beside her. This little girl's looked a lot like Ju Ruotong. Wang Ping asked, "Is this your daughter?" The woman nodded. She turned toward the girl and said, "Call him uncle. He was your mother's childhood friend." The girl seemed a bit shy. She stood behind her mother and whispered, "Uncle." At this moment, some of people among the villagers also recognized Wang Ping. However, When they looked at the armored soldiers, they were afraid to greet him. Wang Ping smiled at the girl and asked, "What is your name?" The girl hid behind her mother and didn't speak. Her eyes were filled with fear. Wang Ping sighed as he looked at the woman and said, "I'm going to the back mountain to pay respects to Grandpa's son." The woman smiled. From beginning to end, she didn't look at Qing Yi, who was next to Wang Ping. She pulled her child to stand next to her husband. Her husband was a brawny man and had obviously inherited his father-in-law's ability to hunt. However, if Wang Ping looked closely, he would find that this man wasn't a stranger. Wang Ping turned around and walked toward the back mountain. Before following Wang Ping, Qing Yi thoughtfully looked at the woman that was rubbing her daughter's head. Just after Wang Ping walked several steps, the little girl hiding behind her mother exposed her head and shouted, "Uncle, my name is Xu Nianping." Her name is literally remember Ping. Xu is the family name, but her name is Nianping. Nian means to remember and Ping refers to Wang Ping. Nianping. Nianping. Wang Ping's footsteps stopped and he let out a sigh. He didn't turn around and continued walking away. It wasn't until they had left that all the villagers dispersed. The strong man next to the woman let out a sigh and softly said, "Why did you do this?" "Brother, don't talk about this anymore." Zhu Ruotong looked up with a smile. Her smile was very beautiful and it revealed a joyous expression. "I'm content in being able to see him again." There were no weeds around Sun Tai's grave. It was clear that someone had been cleaning it. Wang Ping stood before the tomb for a long time before he silently left. Wang Ping whispered, "Qing Yi, I think I'll visit my father soon. I haven't seen him in almost 20 years. Qing Yi didn't speak and only silently followed Wang Ping. No matter where Wang Ping wanted to go, even the underworld, she would follow him. This had nothing to do with her agreement, she willingly accompanied him. "There are some matters I need to ask him about." Wang Ping looked at the fallen moon village one more time and left. In Vast Water City, Wang Lin hadn't gone to the inn in a long time. He just sat inside the courtyard all day. He was waiting for Wang Ping's return. The falling leaves need to return to their roots. A wandering child will also one day return to their loved ones. 3 months later, Vast Water City was filled with turmoil and chaos. Most of the servants in the mansion had all left. Only one old servant who had no place to go chose to stay. The entire Vast Water City was almost empty as everyone fled from the war. Although there were no civilian casualties where the Heaven Empire's army went, panic still spread. Vast Water City was occupied by the Heaven Empire, and the army continued to push forward. Wang Ping was standing outside the city. He didn't enter but left with the army. "Father, the current me still hasn't completed my wish. Once I finish, I'll come to see you." The wheel of time continued to turn as spring, summer, autumn, and winter changed several times. In a flash, another 5 years passed. Wang Ping was 52 years old. The Qin Empire and the Chen Empire surrendered one after the other. Then the Heaven Empire became the only empire on planet Ranyun. When he left home, he was 27 years old. It took 25 years for Wang Ping to obtain everything he wanted. Even though many things that he wasn't aware of had happened for all of this to come true, since Wang Lin had said yes to his request, none of it was surprising. Sometimes he felt like time went by too quickly. After conquering the world, Wang Ping didn't immediately come to see Wang Lin. Instead, he calmly looked at the mountains and rivers he owned and felt the might of the world. Wang Lin still sat in the courtyard every morning, accompanied by the old servant and living his ordinary life. During these 50-plus years, his heart was gradually evolving. 10 years passed by quietly without any waves being set off. The 62-year-old Wang Ping looked quite old. These 10 years of being a supreme leader made his heart feel even more tired. This made him miss his childhood and the 8 years of traveling through the world. What he missed the most was the feeling of his father accompanying him for those 27 years. Qing Yi had turned into an old woman and wrinkles had appeared on her face. However, her gaze was even more tender than before. Despite the fact that they never had a child in all these years. On this day, it was the 35th year since Wang Ping had left his father. The leaves flying in the wind revealed a hint of the autumn coldness. Wang Ping stepped down from his position as supreme leader of the mortal world. Before leaving, he gave the world he had conquered to an official that had followed him the entire time. What he took with him, aside from the 35 years of memories, was Qing Yi. After getting on a carriage, he slowly headed toward his father. As the carriage moved along the official road, the leaves on the side of the road accompanied them. The leaves swayed back and forth along with the wind before falling to the ground. The falling leaves will always end up back at their tree's roots, just like a wandering child will also return to their loved ones. Just like the distance between the leaves and the earth, vast water city was getting closer and closer. Wang Lin was currently sitting inside the courtyard. His only old servant had died 3 years ago, so now he was the only person remaining in this large house. There was a table before him with 2 extra chairs. There were a few dishes on the table, a pot of wine, and 3 pairs of chopsticks. The dishes still gave off hot steam and bursts of fragrance were coming from them. When the wind blew by, their fragrance were scattered outside the mansion. A rush of horse hooves came from the distance, followed by the sound of wheels rolling on the ground. This sound grew louder and louder until it stopped outside the mansion. Wang Ping walked down from the carriage and smiled at Qing Yi as he helped her down, then they walked through the door. The green and red plaque with the words Wang Mansion looked like it had been through the passage of time. The green was faded and the red exposed white marks. Wang Lin raised his head. He seemed to have waited 35 years to do this. He revealed a kind smile and said, "Come and sit down, the dishes are still hot." The simple words revealed a calm warmth. There was no inquiry, no doubt, no politeness. It was as if Wang Ping often came back. Wang Lin's eyes revealed a tender gaze. Wang Ping stared at this father. It had been 35 years. After he left, he hadn't even seen his father once. If he had, it was only in his dreams. "Dad," Wang Ping knelt on the ground, and 2 streams of tears rolled down from his eyes. Qing Yi also knelt down beside Wang Lin and softly said, "Dad." Wang Lin stood up, helped Wang Ping and Qing Yi up, and said, "Let's eat." This meal lasted a long time. A long-lost warmth appeared in Wang Ping's heart. He had been separated from this feeling for 35 years. During the 35 years Qing Yi had accompanied Wang Ping, she had long since identified Wang Lin. She knew he was Shu Mu, the senior back then that slaughtered his way to Planet Thousand Illusion by himself and shocked the entire northern domain. After all, Yun Wufeng had mentioned the words Shu Mu back then. Even now, she still couldn't believe it. It was impossible to think that this kind old man was Shu Mu, the one who once shook the entire northern domain. Qing Yi didn't tell Wang Ping the legends regarding Shu Mu. After all of this happened before she was even born. Everything was just rumors, so she had no right to tell him. It wasn't until the moonlight gradually grew bright and the autumn wind swept by that Wang Ping put down his chopsticks and looked at this father. He had 1,000 words to say, but at this moment, he couldn't say any of them. Wang Lin looked at Wang Ping and slowly said, "Ping what do you want to ask?" "Dad, I want to know about my mother." It had been more than 60 years since Wang Ping first asked this. He remembered that he had only asked his once, and he saw how crestfallen his father was that time. This was the 2nd time he asked. Wang Lin silently pondered. After a long time, his eyes revealed a hint of reminiscence. Looking up at the bright stars in the sky, he softly said, "I'll tell you a story. Far away from here, there is a cultivation planet called Suzaku." Wang Lin's voice revealed a thick sense of vicissitude. From his mouth, he slowly told the story of a youth named Wang Lin and his nearly 900 years of life. From when he entered the cultivation world, the Hengyu sect, the Tian Dao sect. The story of Wang Lin's life gradually opened like a scroll before Wang Ping and Qing Yi. The story was long, very long. However, those who heard the story could feel an unspeakable and strange aura that caused the heart of anyone who heard this story to tremble. Wang Ping stared at his father as he listened to the story. Beside him, Qing Yi's eyes were wide open as she listened to the story. She couldn't help but be immersed in it, even though she knew that the protagonist was Wang Ping's father, the old man before them. That female cultivator was named Liu Mai. The moon was bright and the stars were sparkling. The autumn wind accompanied Wang Lin's voice and seemed like it was unwilling to leave the courtyard. The story of the youth on planet Suzaku contained a hint of sadness among the twists and turns. This feeling became even stronger with the autumn wind. Qingyi's eyes had already shed countless tears as she silently listened. Halfway through the story, Wang Ping lowered his head, so his face was hidden. After that, he brought the child over and settled down on planet Ranyun. When Wang Lin finished his story, he picked up the jag and drank a mouthful before silently staring at the sky. Qingyi stared at the father and son before her with an unknown emotion in her heart. She subconsciously grabbed Wang Ping's hand and immediately found that his hands were completely cold. The courtyard was extremely quiet. After a long time, Wang Ping softly said with his hoarse voice, "The story was very beautiful. Dad, I'm tired." Wang Ping stood up and walked toward a side room in the courtyard. Qingyi bowed to Wang Lin and followed Wang Ping. Wang Lin was the only person remaining in the courtyard. He silently sat there and stared into the distance. The coldness of the autumn wind reached its peak at night. It took some of the leaves far into the distance. After an unknown amount of time, Wang Lin let out a sigh and lowered his head. He then picked up the jug to drink only to find that he was out of wine. Wang Ping got no sleep that night. He stared at the moon in the sky with pain in his eyes as he sat inside the room. Qingyi only sat beside him and held his hand. She didn't say anything and only silently accompanied him. It turns out. This was the answer. The answer I waited over 60 years for. The pain in Wang Ping's eyes became even stronger. It turns out I was refined into a resentful spirit by mother. Wang Ping lowered his head. His face was filled with bitterness and melancholy. At the morning of the next day, Wang Ping left, and Qingyi still followed him. From beginning to end, he didn't say a word to his father or even looked at his father. Even when he left, he did so early in the morning. He silently sat in the wagon and went far away from vast water city. He didn't notice that when he left, a gaze silently looked at the carriage from a distance. This gaze was filled with vicissitude. Wang Lin walked out from the room, sat in the courtyard, and quietly looked at the sky. "Perhaps one day you will understand," he muttered. Wang Ping didn't know where to go and was just blankly moving ahead. He felt very tired. It was as if nothing in this world could make him raise his head and take a look anymore. Wang Ping whispered, "Qingyi, I'm very tired. Let's find a quiet mountain village to live in." Qingyi nodded. Her eyes were filled with tenderness. Wang Ping and Qingyi settled down in an ordinary mountain village and they lived a quiet life. They were no longer young, and the passage of his life often flashed across Wang Ping's eyes. His entire life was 18 years of ordinary life, 8 years of travel, 25 years of battle, and 10 years of being the supreme leader. Although it was a short life, it was more exciting than anything ordinary people would experience. However, in the end he still returned to his starting point, back to his ordinary life. Every morning he would get up and carve wood in the yard. There was warmth in this ordinary life. Qingyi would always sit behind him and watch with a soft gaze as he carved the wood stroke by stroke. Father once said that carving requires one to use their heart. Only then can all the memories be engraved on the carving. Wang Ping held the carving before him and gently blew on it, causing all of the sawdust to fly up into the air. After putting down the wood carving, Wang Ping's eyes revealed a trace of nostalgia and he softly said, "This is the young father." The carving was Wang Lin. The young Wang Lin had fierce eyes, his hand was behind his back, and he looked at the world with a proud aura. Time flashed by and another 10 years passed. The passage of time wasn't able to wash away the traces of the reincarnation cycle. Life and death continued, and no one could escape the path set by the heavens. 10 years was a long time, yet it felt really short. This was a very contradicting feeling, but it was a true portrayal of how every mortal felt. For Wang Lin, these 10 years were short yet felt very long. His hair turned white and was very long as if it hasn't been groomed in a long time. His face was very old, and when he closed his eyes, he felt as if he had entered the reincarnation cycle. During these 10 years of calmness, his understanding of the heavens became even more clear and profound. He didn't do this intentionally, he inadvertently and naturally gained enlightenment. It was like how most of the trees in the courtyard had died because they weren't able to escape the reincarnation cycle. However, after they died, new life appeared. Within the life and death domain, the changes of life were everywhere. If it was before, then Wang Lin wouldn't have seen the comprehension of life even if he saw this. However, now, no matter where he looked, he saw life. The flower by the wall withered every year but bloomed every year as well. The clouds in the sky would scatter but would always gather once more. Just like how some people died and others were born, as if there was a balance. It could be said that karma was also contained within this. Wang Lin was the only person living inside the Wang mansion. The surrounding neighbors had long grown accustomed to this. The surrounding children would often come here to play. At first they were afraid of Wang Lin, but before long they found out that this old grandfather wasn't scary at all. The Wang mansion gradually became a place for children to play. Wang Lin watched the children every day, and his heart was calm. Descendants have their own fortunes. He did what he should have done and said what he should have said. Whether Wang Ping understood depended on Wang Ping himself. Wang Lin believed that a child he raised would have a mind as open as the heavens and would be able to get through any restraint. After 10 years of time, Wang Ping was even older. He had entered the twilight of his life, but he had never put down the carving in his hand. Wang Ping softly said, "Father was right, an ordinary life is better. If I have a choice or if there is another life, I hope I can spend an ordinary life with father in a small, mountain village." Beside him, Qingyi quietly looked at Wang Ping and softly said, "Since you already understand, why don't you go see him?" Wang Ping put down the carving of his father. This was a carving of Wang Lin from 10 years ago. He sat down before the table and gently said, "Let's eat." "Qingyi, you don't understand." The wisdom in Wang Ping's eyes became even stronger as he grew older. "In my heart, aside from the question about my mother, I had another doubt I dared not ask about. I had a feeling that this doubt was the real reason why father wouldn't let me cultivate." Wang Ping's eyes revealed a trace of sadness. This sadness was very similar to Wang Lin's. He had seen through some clues but didn't dare to look deeper into them. "Qingyi, I can feel that I have reached the end of my life. I fear I don't have much time left. You are a cultivator and can live longer than me. Once I die, please send me to my father. As for you, you are free. However, no matter how much time passes, you are not allowed to forget that you belong to me for one reincarnation cycle." Wang Ping's voice contained a trace of determination. Qingyi's body trembled. She was about to speak, but she was interrupted by Wang Ping. "It has been hard for you, these years. As a cultivator, you can change your appearance. In order for me not to feel lonely, you have been gradually making yourself age with me. I, Wang Ping, will never forget this. If there is another life, I will never forget you." Tears fell from Qingyi's eyes. Her cultivation level had been raised by Wang Lin to the peak of the late stage of nascent soul. More than 20 years ago, she comprehended her domain while accompanying Wang Ping. Her domain was regretless passion. "I'll even accompany you in the afterlife." Qingyi softly said, "Cultivation is mere dust in my eyes. I don't want to be a ruthless celestial, I just want to be a sentimental person." Wang Ping stared at Qingyi, then he sighed and softly said, "Why be like this?" At this moment, a bolt of thunder whistled by as it moved through the stars. If one looked closely, there was an incredibly huge and fierce beast inside it. This beast looks like a chileen, but it didn't have a horn. Its entire body was surrounded by flashes of lightning. It was a thunder beast. There was a middle-aged scholar sitting on the back of the thunder beast. This person's cultivation was powerful enough, so he didn't mind the lighting form the thunder beast moving through his body. The bolt of thunder was extremely fast as he moved toward the northern domain of the All-Heaven star system. His goal was very clear. It was planet Ranyun in the northern domain. 70 years ago there was a change on planet Thousand Illusion. The Huan family's ancestor, who was in the second step, died, and it was suspected that a messenger of the Thunder Celestial Temple was behind it. This rumor gradually spread and aroused the attention of the Thunder Celestial Temple. According to the investigation, it seemed the suspected messenger of the Thunder Celestial Temple didn't leave planet Ranyun, so he was sent here to check. The middle-aged man's cultivation level was already past the first step of cultivation and was at the illusory yin stage. He was sitting on the back of the thunder beast as he entered the northern domain. He didn't stop at all and charged straight for planet Ranyun. There are even people who dare to impersonate a messenger of the Thunder Celestial Temple. This kind of thing hasn't happened for a very long time, the middle-aged man sneered. As a messenger of the Thunder Celestial Temple, his power was great. In the entire All-Heaven star system, aside from a few ancient cultivation families, almost no one dared to provoke the Celestial Thunder Temple. Just let me, Thunder Daoist, a real messenger of the Thunder Celestial Temple, meet this person. Don't think that just being able to use a few thunder spells means you can pretend to be a messenger of the Thunder Celestial Temple. Real members of the Thunder Celestial Temple own a Thunder Beast. Thunder Daoist patted the Thunder Beast's head with his right hand. The Thunder Beast seemed to notice his owner's pride. It let out a roar that echoed among the stars. They were getting closer and closer to planet Ranyun. This video will end here.